Now, this new storybook I'm about to read to you is something that I feel especially fortunate of and passionate as well. It's called Horrible Harry and the Dead Letters. By Suzy Kale. Pictures by Amy Wangel. And the reason for reading this is a very selective activity to do if you're bold. And I'm not bold, but I'd like to do this. So, we're going to start out with I'm reading the caption for you. Where are the bookmarks? Let's empty out all desks and clean them out, Miss Mackle ordered. Cindy grabbed his desk with both hands and tipped it forward. Everyone dumped out books, pens, pencils, rags of paper to use tonight, and old black bananas and some hairy monster had in Greece. No one found an extra bookmark. They can't just vanish into the air, Harry said. For missing bookmarks, that's a really mystery. It's a cause I want to solve. A rainbow in room 38. It was Monday morning. We were just handing out our jackets in room 38. And we looked at a rainbow. It was where your favorite color day in Miss Mackle's third grade class. Song Lee in JoJo's new dress is weird. Adele was wearing purple decor, while his blue. I had a green shirt on with matching green socks. Harry was dressed in brown. Mary and Stickity were both wearing pink. Don't you know pink is for girls, Mary said. Sid put your nose right next to Mary's for your information. Mary, my stepdad has the exact same pink shirt, exact pink shirt. His high satisfaction. Mary rolled her eyes. Maybe on planet Mars, she groaned, where a cool pair of giggled. Sid made a face. Don't you know everything? Sid snapped. No, Mary replied, but I do know my cousins, King, Pinky, and Toads. You know, Queen Harry Toes. Sid shot back. I try not to laugh. That morning, Miss Mackle sat down in her big teacher's chair in front of the room. Your rainbow earrings are pretty, Adele said. The teacher smiled and said, then you. Now, boys and girls, she said, I want to read you some poems about coins. They're from the book If You Want to Find Golden by Elie Spitzer. Harry made a face. He groaned. Then he sank down in his chair and closed his eyes. Harry did not like poetry. Everyone else agreed poetry to my poems about red fire extinguishers, a orange material cat, a pesky yellow bee, and gray shimmy smoke. When Miss Knackle read that one about a brown roasted peanuts, Harry opened his eyes and started sniffing. I think he smelled them. And then she finished reading the last poem about several ticking party sounds. Harry put 2 thumbs up. Miss Knackle beamed. Now I have a treat for each one of you. And she held something up. It's a sparkly rainbow bookmark with a list of 120 colors on the back. It was so cool. Thank you, we all said as she passed them out. Way cool, Harry added. I didn't know there were so many names for Brown. I looked at the list. I didn't either. Ogrum, Copper, Tinish, Brown, Marjorie, Kinky, Buff, Oak, Eel, Baltimore, Rust, Bedge, Bowdunder, Senna, Bros. Oh, Mary exclaimed. The list includes my favorite color of light, green. Said, how many 14 names for pink? Sid exclaimed, waving both hands in the air. Pink, shouted Pink Caffeination. Tea Rose, Fuchsia, Rose, Margarita, Deep Pink, Coors, Japanese Pink, Hot Pink, French Rose, Cherry Blossom, Pulse. I suppose you're wearing hot pink tomorrow, said Mary teased. Essentially, I will news, Cindy replied. Okay, the teacher exclaimed. Now it's your turn to write your own color poetry. One color poems. First, my teacher said, choose any color, then start and end with this pose. Mrs. Mackle walked over to the background and wrote in colors. He wrote one to find. And remember, the teacher continued, use to begin and other lines in your poem with an action word and maintain a few of your sentences. Harry got right to work on his brown poem. I got right to work too. The first sentence was easy. If you want to find blue after I wrote 8 lines in my notebook, I read them to myself. If I want to find blue, jump into a lake, eat a blueberry pie, then look in the mirror, and your blue teeth lie down on the grass and look up at the sunny sky if you want to find blue. I learned black is my chill feeling like a poet. 15 minutes later, Mrs. Mackle asked, is anyone ready to read their color poems? Harry waved his hand in the air. I am good already, Harry. The teacher said. Harry stood up tall and started reading. If I want to find brown, go barefoot on a foam, step on the fresh cow pattern, and wiggle your toes. Feel the cow doo-doo. Cool off your piggies if you want to find brown. Lots of us laughed. Sandy and Henry snapped each other's five. Miss Mackle waved her fingers. I want any one of you to step on cow melons. You might get Jones. If suppose, Henry, you think of something else to step on that is brown. If work out, he replied, sit next to me. If I want to find pink, look at my pink crayon. Wear a pink shirt like me. Take a ride in a pink car and took to the home. Or eat some strawberry ice cream if you want to find pink. Mrs. Mackle smiled. I love the strawberry ice cream part. Everyone clapped except Mary Zuzu made a comment. Crayons aren't always pink, thought Sid, and neither are shirts and scarves. How about Pinky? Then Celia replied, darting to the back to his seat. When he got there, he added something else, a cotton candy. I'm enjoying now. When Mary twisted her finger in the air, pricking to be excited, Sydney looked hurt. Later that morning, when we were finishing up our walking, Mrs. Mackle announced, I have a big surprise for you, class. The big surprise. Miss Mackle stepped out of the hallway. We could hear our costume. Mrs. Bentley talking. Be careful now, he said. It's heavy. They both carried something big and blew into room 38. A mad box. We all excited. The post office said this was an old one and that it could be used for exclamation purposes. Miss Mackle exclaimed. We watched the teacher pull down the blue handle and show us the mail chute. It worked. So we do, you think, class? Do you want a general mailbox in room 38? Yes, we all shouted. Thanks, Mr. Binchey, the teacher said as the costume waved and waved out the door. Miss Mackle toned on our motors choked. "We have a post office jobs now," she said, taking a new sign to the whole living road. "We're rating these each week so everyone will have a turn to be postmaster. Postmaster Mary Feature Mary, Nin Suta, Karen Song Lee, Shoto-eyed, Karen Doug Desker said. "What does the postal do?" Mary asked. "The postal is like the captain of a team," Miss Mackle explained. "You make sure the post office runs smoothly. You can call a meeting and you are in charge of the keys." The teacher held up a string neck, laced with a metal key. Mary's eyes dumped in size. "Every day after lunch recess, you will use the key to attend the mail box. Once the door is open, you'll scoop the letters out of the crate. Then you'll carry the crate to your supply table for sorting. You will not all using the key. Hand it up on the hook, next to the man itching shirt." "I love it, Miss Mackle." Mary tried on the key nickel right away. "What's a facial?" Harry asked. "A facial makes sure the letters are stacked so the address on the top," Miss Mackle replied. Harry nodded. "That's easy. What's the calendar?" "The calendar postmarks all the letters we are a rubber stamp." Strongly squeezed his hands together and smiled in this sinful hole. "I get to do that. Do I have a stamp, Miss Mackle?" "You sure do. It's a special rainbow stamp." "Oh," Songly said, changing her hands. "Now I want you post office stamp to come over with me to the supply table," the teacher said. 8 of us joined her. She pointed out a plastic milk carton crate, 1 shirt box, 1 stack of paper envelopes, a stamp pad, and stamp stickers, pencils, pens, and markers. I noticed Sydney took an empire and returned to his desk for a minute. "I'm the nizzle," Zuzu said. "What's that?" "Nizzle comes from the word niz, which means no kiss Mackle," explained. "A nicey is a letter that is not addressed properly. So if a letter has no address or name, the mix puts it in the letter office." Miss Mackle held up the shoebox. "That shoebox is a office?" Zuzu asked. Miss Mackle chuckled. "You'll have to use your imitation." "And make a pin," Zuzu said. taking a black marker from the supply table. We all watched at him nearly write 2 words on top of the shoebox. Dead letters. Dun dee dun dun, Harry sang out. Everyone giggled, even Mary. I get to deliver the mail, the con said. Me too, I said, slapping him 5. Sidney tiptoed over to the mailbox and dropped in his envelope. We're not starting to mail things yet, Sidney. Miss Mackle called out. Sid jumps a mile. I think he was quite surprised the teacher saw him. So sorry, said Stan. How do a sort of letters? Anne is asked. But Rose, like the teacher explained, so everyone we be sure to write the roll number before the person's name is on the envelope. Did you do that? Sidney, Mary asked. Sidney shook his head. Maybe use the keyhole key to open up the door at the bottom half of the big blue mailbox. She took out the one white envelope and carried it over to Zuzu. If it has no address, it goes into the dead letter office, Mary said. It doesn't have a name, either, Zuzu added, as I dropped Sidney's letter into the shoebox. Then attached the lid and 2 rubber bands. Sid didn't seem to care very much. He just jumped. I only wrote 1 sentence, Miss Backer smiled. Well, I think you should go Sidney a second chance. I don't think to hear the directions. Just as Zuzu started the 2 rubber bands, Sidney objected. No, I want my gold and reply people to address their mail correctly. Just leave it there as a dead letter. Well, the teacher replied, I think we should give Sidney a round of applause for helping us to remember the important rule. I just hope we only have no dead letter. Sidney grinned after everyone clapped. When we replied to all seats, Mary went bonkers. The mystery vengeance. My rainbow bookmark is gone, Mary exclaimed, and it was my favorite I-2-1. Oh, I'm sure you will tone up, Miss Mackle said. I know you have approaching it to the minute something, but I didn't mistake it. I hid it right on top of my desk. Mary barked someone just fixed it. I looked under my desk. So didn't Harry? I was wondering if he might consider it a possible case, but I looked dumbed. kids in our class were also launching stuff. Somebody probably picked it up intentionally. I just said, the bookmarks and all alike. It's easy to do. Boys and girls, please check to see if you have 2 bookmarks. Miss Mackle said. Everyone looked in their desk. No one had 2. Miss Mackle squatted down next to Mary. They were eye to eye now. If I had an extra one, I would give it to you. I'm sure your bookmark will tone up, Mary. They both nodded. Then the teacher held it up to a big glass jar. It had 19 pieces of folded paper inside, and each paper had a student's name written on it. Each day I would ask you to pick up name out of this jar. You will write to that person. The next day you will draw again. What if we get the same person? Zuzu asked. Or ourselves? Just read fold the paper and put it back into the jar and draw again. The teacher said, let's get down to biz. Harry said, rubbing his hands together, I want to write a poem for someone. We picked names from the glass jar and started writing. I got lucky. I got Zuzu's name. I decided to send him my blue poem. After lunch, we took care of all post office chores. Mary appended the mailbox with her metal letter when Harry lifted over her shoulder to watch. She named it away. I need room. Excuse me, Mary said with lots of impertinence. She corked all the letters into the mail carton crate and covered it over to the post office table. After she dumped it, Harry quickly started the letters so the names on row numbers were Philip, Zuzu, filled through the pile and looked for inks. No dead letters today, she said. Solemnly stamped each one of carefully with a rainbow stamp. Not one rainbow was upside down. Then Ada scored them by words. Dexter, Sid, and I each picked up a pile of letters and began to rope me. Dexter hunted an Elvis tune as we delivered the letters to his row. I didn't take long soon. Everyone had mail to begin opening it up. Some kids sent pictures. Some sent their poems like Harry, and I did Zuzu's and a covered cross puzzle for Harry. He loved it. What's a 4-letter word for get lost? Harry said. Scout, Mary said. Dexter sent me a doll to dot. I think it's a house. but I'm not sure. It's Elvis' head book. Arthur, the pen, relying, and then he sang the song for her. The next 2 days were committed. Writing letters and different kinds of poetry, Song Lee writing letter handbook. Harry loved writing odes. There were poems with lots of feeling. He showed me the one he wrote to leeches. Oh, jealous, you crazy blossom stuff worms. I know you have 34 seconds and 2 suckers. I remember this day, that day, I fell in the pond. You jumped out, my arms and legs, and sucked my blood. Song Lee saved me when he soy sauce. Oh, Jeekers, why don't you think ketchup? We do you think, Henry added. I think you all is different. I think acting to me give me the clothespin piles, but I left a part out. The next day something very weird happened. And the next chapter is called Something Weird. And that will be for our next Once a Day afterward. So that is the first chapter of the book Horrible Harry and the Dead Letters. That's the first part of it. And next time we'll get to the second part and finish up.